This episode is very exciting for me because we have a legitimate, real good comment on a YouTube video. It confused Trevor a little bit because the username is Alex. So Alex asked this question. Hi, maybe you could give me some feedback on the game. How does Cyberpunk run on Stadia, and how good are the graphics? And most importantly, how fast is the input lag? Disturbs the input lag while shooting or driving? Trevor has the Stadia and he's into all that, so I said Trevor is expecting to answer over the podcast. So this is dedicated to Alex.
It's not dedicated to just him. It's for anyone who's asking and wondering about this. I had been listening and watching a lot about Cyberpunk the last week on different platforms, and the quality on PC compared to the PS4, the Xbox One, and the differences graphically. One comment I read or heard on one of the videos I watched, I can't specifically remember who I was watching. They were talking about how Cyberpunk, or maybe I read it on Reddit, I'm not sure, runs smooth and it runs really great on Stadia because it's essentially like the PC version. If you use a free subscription, you are limited up to 1080p of streaming quality of the game on Stadia. If you pay for the Pro model, which I think it's worth it because you get 4K streaming, which most people want. A lot of people have 4K TVs. The dongle is a 4K Chromecast Ultra. The graphics compared to PC or PS4 Pro, it's probably going to be as good as PS4 Pro, maybe slightly worse than PC. The only thing is it's not going to have the lighting.
Ray tracing?
Yeah, ray tracing. I had it in my head and I couldn't interpret it in my head. Yeah, so ray tracing is dependent on your graphics card if you have a PC. But the Stadia version doesn't allow that. It doesn't have ray tracing. But it basically is the same graphics as PC without ray tracing. And the quality of how your input lag, your latency, is dependent on your connection speed. So if you have a slow connection, you're gonna experience, not only will you experience maybe less fidelity graphics, you probably see more artifacting, more slow loaded assets, and perhaps a little input lag from the servers streaming back and forth towards the Chromecast on your connection. Most people already have internet connection, but I would probably recommend having, if you're like really into wanting to have like the best performance, best experience with this game, you probably want like at least 200, and That's because you're not just loading in the connection, since the stream is actually providing you the graphics. You have to load in the whole picture of like the rendering coming through on your network connection. I think I remember seeing someone played like 4 hours or something on the Stadia, and it was like 28 gigabytes of internet used in like 4 hours.
So you recommend the 200 megabit internet connection?
Yeah, at least.
And is there any throttling with the internet usually for gaming internet, or is that an issue?
No. Throttling only happens if you are using like over a terabyte of internet from Xfinity or something like that in a month, which could possibly happen if you're playing like 80 hours a week of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, if you're using, like you said, 23 gigabytes in 4 hours.
Yeah, it's like 28 in 4 hours or something. I would have to go back and find that screenshot.
So that seems to be the answer.
Because they're developing on essentially 5 different platforms, maybe 7 if you want to count the difference on the PlayStation 4 and the Pro and the Xbox One and the One X. That's 4 plus I guess the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions aren't out yet technically. There's 5 platforms, 6 platforms that they are developing for. The PC version and the Stadia version are pretty much the same. I think they have to put in some API for the Stadia version, but it's pretty much running the same. So on PlayStation 4, and Xbox, they hadn't really optimized it. So there's more bugs in those versions. Of course there's bugs. This game just came out. They've released a statement saying they're going to be improving it. They already have 2 patches out in the last couple weeks. And next year they're going to be coming on monthly bug fix patches after the holidays. So far, I mean, I've watched some streams of PC gaming of it, and there's bugs, but none of it's like game breaking. It doesn't like prevent you on PC from progressing. Like there's some funny bugs that like their eyes are like whited out so they look like weird.
I did a little calculation. At the rate of 28 gigabytes for a 4-hour session, you might use a terabyte of memory in about 143 hours. So if you might be playing that much in 1 month, you might get throttled.
Yeah, and I think they started charging you extra for like if you go over the limit that they provide you. It's a thing that internet providers do. I don't know why. The Stadia version, I would say, is the best version because you don't need a gaming PC to run it. You don't have to worry about getting a $2,000 or less if you want something to look good. So if you're just like a casual gamer and you're like, oh, Cyberpunk, I heard it's a good game. It has Keanu Reeves as a voice actor in it, and I want to like follow it because it looks really cool, then Stadia is right now I think $100. If you buy Cyberpunk 2077, they ship you the Chromecast Ultra with the Premier controller. If that thing's still going on. I heard in Canada they sold out, so they don't have any more offers in Canada, but it might be still going on in the US.